Hey Waymakers, this is Stephanie Martin, and today we are going to be talking about 7 steps to take to help you shift out of force and into flow. As promised, today's topic is on the 7 steps to shift out of a force state into a flow state. First, let's define what force is and what is flow. Force is what I define as a state of anxiety. You're constantly striving, you're constantly on, you're constantly afraid and irritable. You're not able to turn off, you're not able to stop and be and rest and just live surrendered and yielded and fully present to the moment. You rarely enjoy the process. You certainly don't trust the process, and you're always out to do the next thing. Behind this is the fear of letting go. Flow is the exact opposite. Flow is peaceful, it's grounded, it's centered, it's abundant, it's prosperous, it's life, you're thriving. So force, you are striving and surviving. Okay, you're in this, it's up to me, it's all on me, no one's here to help me kind of survival, abandoned orphan mentality, where in flow state you trust that you are cared for, you trust that you are loved, you trust that there's a really beautiful plan and purpose on your life, and you live surrendered and in alignment to that truth. So here are the 7 steps to break and shift this habit of force and get into a flow state. So step number 1, you have to be aware of what your attitudes, thoughts, words, and feelings are. I say this a lot in my videos, but it always starts with awareness. You've got to have a high level of self-awareness here. And you need to be aware. You start with, what are your thoughts? You need to take your thoughts captive. Be aware of what you were thinking about. Programs like the 12-step programs talk about this being stinking thinking. Many programs are fully aware that in order to change, you have to be aware of what it is that you're thinking about. What are your attitudes? What are your thoughts? What are your judgments? What are your words? What are you saying? So begin the habit of paying attention to your thoughts, your feelings, your attitudes, and your words. This leads me to step number 2. Give me a second while I get my notes. Step number 2, explore what you are afraid of. So behind force is fear, and most likely the biggest culprit is the fear of letting go. All right, so you have this desire to be in control and to force outcomes. That's usually what's happening. So the fear of letting go, the fear of missing out is another one, and they kind of go hand in hand. The fear of letting go, it's hard to let go because you are afraid that you're going to miss out on something, or that means something about you. There's some sort of story you have placed behind letting go. There's something you're afraid of about what that is. So explore that. What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid of letting go? What exactly are you afraid of missing out on? And then that leads me to step number 3. Explore, where does this thought come from? Where does this come from? There's usually an event in your life, or a person, or something that happened to you, or something somebody taught you or said to you that you're replaying. This kind of has gotten entangled into your identity and your thought life, and now has kind of become, I'd hate to say become who you are. It's a part of who you are that can be broken off and shifted, because this part of who you are is in the driver's seat, causing you to force rather than flow, because there is something that is out of alignment. So where does this come from? So you pay attention to what's happening. Step number 2, you ask, what are you afraid of? Step number 3, where does this come from? Is there a person's voice that you're hearing? Maybe you're replaying what a parent has taught you or said to you repeatedly, or maybe a teacher or a pastor, some sort of authority figure. Maybe it's just what the world has said. Maybe it's a bunch of stuff that the world teaches you, or culturally, or your environment has taught you. So identify where does it come from, and then ask yourself, step number 4, is this true? Most likely it's not. Most likely it's not true that if you're not number 1, then you're no one. Or that if you're not working all the time, then you're useless. Or if you take a break, then you're lazy. Whatever that story is, there was a story that you have told yourself. Hopefully you find that in the what are you afraid of, because there's a story you've got to unpack. When you go to step 3 and you explore where does it come from, and then you ask yourself, step 4, is this true? Most likely it's not. And you begin to just expose these lies and this junk that has held you captive in the prison of your mind for so long in this 4th state. This is hell. And let's shift it into flow, because abundance is here. Thriving is here. We don't have to fend for ourselves. We are loved. We are cared for. We are precious. We matter. We are significant. And we are here on purpose, for a purpose. So let's fulfill that by shifting out of force and into flow. This leads me to step 5. After you identify, is it true? Most likely it's not. Ask yourself, what is true? What really is true? I just stated a bunch of truths. You are significant. You matter. You have a call on your life, a purpose to fulfill. All of these things are true. What isn't true is that no one cares about you, that it's all on you to do, that you can never rest, that you can never just be, that life is too serious, or there's all these things that are too important for you to just enjoy the moment and be present in the here and the now. Or that there's always something else that you have to be doing and achieving to reach to the next level. And if you don't take this action now, then it's never going to happen. And the likelihood of that is pretty minimal. So we've got to stop the fear of missing out. We've got to stop the fear of controlling outcomes and trying to force outcomes. And if that's really hard for you, there's a lot of work to do in identifying why is it so scary to let go. Who are you not trusting? What are you not trusting in? There's probably maybe a wound there, a disappointment that has happened that you're living out of and allowing to be the dictator of where your life goes and how you live your life. You can leave the past in the past. In fact, what lies behind us, let it stay behind us so we can move forward into an abundant, great future ahead. And step number 6. What do you want more of? What is it that you want more? So what do you really want? You don't really want control. What you want is peace, most likely, or love, or belonging. There's something that you want more that's behind the goal or the outcome that you're trying to achieve. Okay, it's great to want a certain type of income or job title or role position, or hit certain milestones. It's great to want all of that, but it's important to realize that there's something deeper behind why you want that. And grab onto that. What is the deeper reason behind that? Why does any of this matter? What is it that you want more of? Because I can assure you that more money in the bank account isn't going to bring you greater fulfillment in life. It's not going to bring you the peace. I know millionaires that still stress out and feel like they never have enough money because they've never shifted out of force and learned how to live in flow. The key here of learning how to shift out of force and into flow is to learn how to be content in all things. And this is true freedom and true abundance and prosperity in this precious life that we have been given. So what is it that you want more? What do you truly want? What do you truly desire? What's the reason behind the reason? And then step 7, give yourself permission to have it, to keep it, and to enjoy it. Okay? This is another thing about breaking habits of self-sabotage, crushing through the upper limit problem, all of these. And I can make videos like this before, so comment below if you want that and what specific one you want, because there's so many things layered in between, and I'm just giving you a simple 7 things. And my program, Flow vs. Force, is a 6-month intensive deep dive coaching program to squash this in 6 months when people have been living their life like this for 30 years, 20 years, however many years they've lived like this. But I'm giving you the best that I can here, because you can work through this and journal through this and start the process of self-coaching to begin to shift this in your own life. So here's a review. Step 1, pay attention to the attitudes, thoughts, feelings, and words that you are saying. Step 2, identify what it is that you are afraid of. Why is it scary to let go? What are you afraid of missing out on? What does this mean about you? Identify the story behind that. There's some fear and story you have attached to it, which makes it difficult to let go. Step 3, explore. Where does this come from? What happened in your life that caused this thought to happen, this thought pattern to be paved into your brain, and begin this pathway into your brain where now that's kind of a go-to that your mind immediately goes to every time it's triggered or every time it steps out to do something. There's some sort of story, and you're replaying that story every time, and it scares you and holds you back. So where does it come from? Because we've got to go to that moment and then tell a new story. There's time to reprogram a whole new story here, which is the truth. Okay, so this story, most likely it's not true, which is step 4. Is it true? Most likely not. Step 5, what is true? This is where we're rewriting the story. This is where we intentionally reprogram thoughts and pathways into our literal physical brains to override what has been written, and we're writing something new, because there was always a new thing happening. Step 6, what do you want more? What is the reason behind the reason for you making more money or getting this position or losing this amount of weight? What is the reason behind the reason? And step 7, give yourself permission to have it, to keep it, and to enjoy it. This is where you stop self-sabotaging and you crush the upper limit problem. And again, comment below if you want videos on breaking the habit of self-sabotaging and crushing the upper limit problem. And that is it, you guys, for the 7 steps to take to help you shift out of force and into flow. Be sure to subscribe, click that bell, and if you like this episode, give it a thumbs up. Share this with someone that comes to mind that you believe will really benefit from this message. And I'll talk to you all on the next episode. Bye!